Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson. This is our final Fairfield Today of the year prior to Christmas. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Certainly Merry Christmas to all of you out there. And it's a wonderful time of the year, certainly down here at Fairfield Federal. It's tremendously decorated down here. And behind us, of course, at the gazebo, and big tree, and the nativity scene is just a wonderful time to be outside here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. So much going on. When I think about really great nonprofits, and we have many in Lancaster and Fairfield County that I'd certainly recommend. One of the more iconic ones, and one I always talk about, is if you think about if you'd like to give money to a nonprofit to help people locally, where would be a good place? Number one in my mind always is Salvation Army. It's a pleasure to have with me now the current captain down there, Brian DeMichael. Welcome.
Paul, good to be here as always.
Exciting time of the year. I mean, this is really the money ball time for the Salvation Army. I mean, it kind of all comes to fruition at this time.
Yeah, there's about a 6-week span there where we all go crazy with the stuff that's going on between bell ringing and getting things together for distributing to the kids. I mean, this is our crunch season. This is our really busy season where everybody sees us, even though we're actually active doing stuff 365 days a year.
So many things you do down there. But again, like you say, this is you kind of come out from under that rock. Well, we've been here all the time, but here we are. And now every store you go in, or many stores you go in now, the iconic kettle, which we have here, this is where it all rubber meets the road.
That is it. These are the days during the season when your 16-hour days when you're driving hundreds of miles around the county, making sure bell ringers are all taken care of, and but this is it. This is where we raise money to be able to support not only what we do at Christmas, but throughout the entire year. As a matter of fact, our theme this year has been the phrase "Love Beyond Christmas," because when you support the Red Kettles, you're not just supporting what we're doing at Christmas, you're supporting what we do all year round.
We'll talk about some of that stuff. We'll circle back to that. But how many places around the county, city and county, do you have locations?
We have 12 kettle locations around the county.
Okay.
All the Kroger stores, the Walmart stores in Lancaster and in Canal, Winchester, Hobby Lobby, and JCPenney.
Nice. Staffed, early till evening?
We've run 10 to 8.
Okay.
Sometimes some of our bell ringers will get out, 9:30 because we're trying to get everybody out on the route, and they're out till at least 6. Some of them get picked up at 5:45, some of them 6:15. But you've got that area there of where we're covering the kettles.
Now, so that's just underway now. Here we are at Christmas. You're well underway here, but that just started a couple of weeks ago. I know you had a big kickoff campaign with really one of Lancaster's really favorite people come back to live here and just do great work around here in Fairfield County and in Franklin County too, where he has a radio show. Bobby Carpenter was in.
Yes.
He can light it up.
Oh, he was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Just gave a very heartfelt and moving speech that day at the kickoff, and really touched a lot of our hearts.
Yep.
And Bobby's just a wonderful man. He's a wonderful man of faith. Is one of the things that I've learned as well. Just an overall great guy, and we were just so thankful and happy to have him with us.
Yeah, and like you say, a local kid. He's the perfect guy. One of the more perfect people to have come back and talk about it, because he's very familiar with what you do. His whole life he's been around this.
He gave us a great story of when he was at Lancaster High School, when he was in the Key Club, they used to sign up to stand kettles at Target at the time. And so what he would do is he would find out if there was a girl or something that was standing at a certain spot or a certain time, and he'd sign up there to ring with her, because it was 2 hours, that you had to stand there and kind of talk with each other. And I'm like, that was a smart move.
Bobby was sharp even at LHS.
A smart move.
Now, as I understand it, your budget is somewhere in the neighborhood of this time of year of $100,000.
Right now, our effort with kettles, we're trying to raise $100,000 on kettles. It's a portion of our overall budget. The Salvation Army here in Fairfield County actually has an annual operating budget of about $1.6 million. So, it's a big part of what we do. Not quite 10%, but it's a very important piece, and the resources that we need for the year.
And I think that's what we want to touch on for a moment. And you said it a little bit earlier. We're raising it right now during this last quarter, during this last month or so here in Fairfield County, and trying to hit that number. But this is money that really propels you for an entire 2023 in many of the programs that you have, which you do a lot of other things.
Right, and I like to tell folks all the time, and I've said this for many years as a Salvation Army officer: the better we do at Christmas, the more we can do during the rest of the year. Because again, as we were talking about at the beginning, this is the season that everybody's thinking about the Salvation Army. This is the season when folks are coming by and dropping their pennies, nickels, dimes, dollars, checks, $100 bills, whatever you want to into that kettle, and it's all of that really coming together to be able to meet the needs of our community throughout the year.
And we have the kettle here, and above that is a card, and I think we'll have a shot of that up, and it's got and I guess technology, certainly the Salvation Army, you have to stay up with that. Everybody has to move forward, and the QR code is where so many things are moving now, and you're a part of that. So when we look at that QR code, tell us how that works with this kettle campaign.
Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is take a picture of that QR code, and it will actually take you to our online kettle. And at our online kettle, you can give whatever you would like to give to support the kettle effort. So it's great that even if you're not able to go out and physically visit a store, you can scan that QR code right from the screen. You can actually, if you are out in the store, I know when I've been ringing the bells that I hear a lot of folks saying, "Oh, well, I don't carry cash anymore. If you guys just took credit cards." Well, we bypassed the credit card thing and went straight to the QR code. Right. So you can just scan that QR code when you walk past, and you're all set to give and be a part of the campaign.
And just as we speak right now, you've got the toy campaign just wrapping up. That's been big business for you too this year.
It has. As a matter of fact, the number of children that we've served in the community is up about 40% over last year.
40%.
40%. It has been there's been quite the demand this year, and we know we've kind of noticed it within our office from September on.
Start to see it build up.
Not only just for the toy program, but for all of our services.
Families,
we've really noticed that there's been a little bit of a change there, and so this year we've had a lot of folks coming to us asking for assistance. And one of the things that I love here in Fairfield County is we actually have we call it our Christmas Cheer campaign, but part of that is our Angel Tree program. And so we have different individuals that will pick tags off of trees, whether it's at their church.
We have one at our church.
Through their business, things like that.
Right.
And so as they take those tags, they go out and they purchase the wish items that the kids have on that list. And I will tell you, in the communities that I've served in, I've never seen one like Fairfield County. There's a spot on there. We have kids that, for some of them, the thing that they want for Christmas is a bed. I mean, that's something that we take for granted. And so these kids are saying, all I want for Christmas is a bed. We've got donors that'll go out and buy beds for these kids. We've got kids that'll wish for bikes, and the donors get the bikes, and they get them clothes and toys. And it's just a wonderful thing to see the community come together to support everybody. Not just with the kettles, not just with the toys, but all of it coming together. And we're very blessed to be a part of it.
Got a couple of minutes left, and I just want to make sure we have time to talk about your future site, the future location over on Slocum Avenue, just 2 or 3 blocks from where I grew up. When I was a kid, that was the Plaza Drive-In over there. Just a great thing to get down there and look at you couldn't hear anything, but you could see the screen from Slocum Avenue. I remember standing right where your big sign is, looking up at the screen. You couldn't hear anything, but boy, what a great picture. That's the future home of Salvation Army.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are in the process right now of working on raising the money and getting the designs completed, and we are hoping by 2025 to be moving out of our building on Hubert Avenue, where the Salvation Army has been since 1976. So just a little bit of time. I like to tell folks that's longer than I've been alive. which, yeah, anyway. But
There's going to be a hurtful comment there, but thank you for moving on.
we try to reflect the Lord on what we do. So we love you, Paul. But actually, we're working on the process right now. We anticipate it's going to be about a 20,000 square foot building that will have space for our adult daycare center to expand, our food pantry space, which is one of our big programs. This last year, we distributed enough food to feed over 45,000 meals out of our tiny little pantry space. And so, a significantly larger space. We've seen the demand for the pantry, as I was saying earlier, just go through the roof in the last couple of months. Yeah. Trying to keep food on the shelf has been a challenge, which, as a quick side note, I do have to give a plug to some of our schools here in Lancaster. Some of our elementary schools work with us to do canned food drives this time of year. And that food really is very helpful because that helps keep the pantry going.
Kids really
as well.
Want to get involved in
They
that.
do. And, we have been so blessed this year between that, and then we also did our world's largest kettle tour that week there of the kettle kickoff. So it was mid-November, and some of the schools, the kettle went around to the schools, and the kids were able to climb the steps and put the money in. And,
nice.
We love it. We love that everybody can get involved even at that point. But anyway, so the building will have a larger adult daycare space. It'll have the larger food pantry. We're working on putting in a gym because we have a very large teen program.
Sure.
And it gives, kids in town a place to go. Because, quite honestly, if you're a junior high school student or a high school student, there's nowhere to go and nothing to do in our community. So we want to be a part of that change over at that site, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, the Salvation Army, again, one of the great nonprofits in town. They do such great work. The money stays locally. You can hear all the things that Brian talks about that they do locally here, and it's just nonstop, 12 months a year. It's highlighted this time of year, but it's nonstop, 12 months a year. Families are helped. Young people are helped all year long. So good luck in this in this campaign. You see the kettle, the card is on. It got the QR code, high tech. You can really get involved in any way you want to give. Coins, cash, QR code, online, anything you want to do. Salvation Army is there.
Yes, you can visit us online at fcohio.salvationarmy.org. It'll tell you all the stuff that we provide. It'll show some ways that you can get involved, and we appreciate all the help. We love being here. We love being a part of such a caring and giving community that is really concerned about its fellow brothers and sisters within the community.
Well, Merry Christmas to you and your wife, Captain Brian and Laura DeMichael of Salvation Army. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year, and we'll be talking to you in 2023. We'll talk about the things even growing bigger and better.
Sounds good.
Good.
Sounds good.
Captain Brian DeMichael from the Salvation Army. We'll be back on Fairfield Today in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
It's a hometown bank. It's located here in Fairfield County. Branches are convenient. They're located here in Pickerington, where my office is. I'm in Lancaster a lot, and they have plenty of branches there. And I much prefer dealing with the hometown banks rather than the larger nationwide chain banks.
So far, everybody's been so personable, and for us to bank with the local bank, and we bank in Lancaster, it's been so wonderful because we'll call somebody, Steve will call somebody, and they'll get back to us right away, or they'll say, okay, we're going to make a decision in the basement tomorrow, and they'll get back to us, rather than calling a bigger bank where we had to wait and we didn't always get the same person the next time we called for a investment banking opportunity, or getting something appraised, any of those kind of things.
Everybody is very customer friendly. A lot of times I'll bring my dog Bear with me, and the staff love him here, and of course he loves them and the treats that he gets. So it's just a nice kind of a family type environment.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
When I volunteer, when I come over here, first thing I think about is my dad. But then also think about all the people that helped us when we were here.
Something brings me here, and I feel that it's my dad's spirit. He wants us here. He wants us to give back because of what I did for him. And I think that's helped me with a lot of my grief.
The support of the people here and the volunteers, that makes it a great place.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Alex Lape. In my 30-year law enforcement career, I have seen many different trends in illicit drug trade and substance use disorders. Fentanyl is the deadliest drug that I have ever encountered. Very minuscule amounts can be fatal. Fentanyl is present in most mainstream illicit drugs. Drug cartels are now pressing fentanyl into forms that appear to be common candies. Ingesting any of these fake candies or pills can have fatal overdose effects. This ongoing drug epidemic requires a balanced approach. We must focus our attentions and resources on treatment and education in conjunction with enforcement efforts that hold those who traffic in dangerous drugs accountable. For your sake and the sake of your family, do not take any medications that are not issued through prescriptions by your pharmacy. Thank you.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
We are back on Fairfield today. It just happens that way. I don't think I really planned it out. Lucky kind of thing, I guess. But we had two shows scheduled. Of course, Brian DeMichael just in with the Salvation Army, and I think one of the great local places for more than 100 years, a nonprofit that does such tremendous work locally here, as does Salvation Army, is Maywood Mission. Pleasure to have with us the Executive Director of Maywood Mission, Jonathan Hanks. Jonathan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Paul. Good to be back here.
It's good to have you on always. Things are hopping at the mission,
yes.
I know. It's right your time of year.
I'm going to get out of here and go right back.
and we just, again, had Brian DeMichael on from Salvation Army, and really it's sort of that would sort of transcend you too, is like maybe 11 months of the year, 10 months of the year, you just kind of maybe in some cases under the radar. You just do what you do good things to help the community. And we'll talk about a lot of the things you've got going on. But now all of a sudden in the final 6 weeks of the year, everything rises to the top. And boy, you are all out 16-hour days, I'm sure. Everything is open, the thrift shop, the giveaways, the food pantry, everything is just probably running 100%.
It's humming.
Yeah,
it's
humming.
Yeah.
So as Brian was mentioning, things are up for them down there. I'd have to guess the same would be for you.
Yeah, just based upon what we saw from Thanksgiving, we know we're going to be up at least 25%, if not 40. So
Thanksgiving was very busy also.
Yes, very busy, and we're seeing the same thing, if not more, for Christmas.
Yeah.
So
here we are, almost on Christmas now. The last show we'll be doing before Christmas when we tape this, and toy giveaway, food giveaway, everything is just you're open for business.
Yeah, and what most people don't realize is that it's not just a toy giveaway, once they get done picking the toys in our store, they then go back to a whole other section of the store, and they get a coat, an outfit, socks. I mean, they're picking all this stuff out with the right sizes and what they see their kids would want to wear. So it's pajamas, socks, underwear, and then so they've got kind of 3 stations they go through. One is the toys where they're picking that, and then back to the clothing area, and then back to the pantry. So and the whole store is completely renovated to be kind of like a little department store for Christmas.
And one thing, we didn't specifically touch on that yet, but one thing I talk to people all during the year about, somebody will ask me, well, where can I go to donate things? Where can I go to do that? And I talk about the thrift shop, and I'll tell people, if they have not been in there recently, they won't know it.
Yeah.
It is a remarkably changed, for the better, place down there. That is, it's a great place to go for people to look for certain items at a certain price range. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're seeing about 500 to 600 customers a week now.
Wow.
And the dynamic to that is it's not, whatever is spent there goes back into the mission for these kind of things
Sure.
right now. But we also, it's kind of an under the radar way of finding needs that may not come through a regular referral. You get that many people drifting in, we're always looking to see, you can tell from people's faces what they're shopping for, and some people just are there for the dignity aspect, and then we can come around and say, we can do more for you, and we don't need to make a big deal about it. So
you don't need to wear a sign that says, but that's kind of the job down there, is to find these underlying needs and causes and things that go on. And as you say, that probably is a frequent thing down there.
Very frequent, and we all know we have a homeless population, and they feel very comfortable coming in there, and so we've got a whole setup where we can provide them little things they can take to their encampment, from hygiene to these little aluminum cook things.
Well, that's important this time of the year for some of those folks.
Yep. So we're ready for and know what they need, but yet make it still a great place of dignity where people like to shop, feel good about themselves.
And one of the things that kind of falls to the wayside this time of the year, because we always talk about the coats and the food and the toys and the things you do for all the families, the 211 referrals, but the daycare center, it's gone through some changes in the last year. It's rolling pretty good new now.
Yes, we're back up to 40 enrollments, and plus the summer camp was just thriving all summer, and so we've got the before and after school plus the preschool, and it's ramped up, and we able to find some needs there within that population.
Well, I'm sure the kids they're involved in that. You hear stories.
Yes. So it's another area of ministry that's not just daycare.
And that's really what it is down there. Maywood Mission, again, for those who may not be aware, for over 100 years this has been located. We're down there on South Broad Street down there, and it's really a pretty good-sized campus with the building in the back where the daycare goes on, then the newly renovated thrift stores out on the street. But if people haven't been there for a while, it'd be worth a trip down.
Yep, and if they'd like a tour, they're considering donating to us and just want to know a little bit more, they can stop in and ask for me, and I'll give them a quick tour and tell them a little bit more about the place.
Is it maywoodmission.org?
Yes.
Maywood Mission, it's a good website. Again, I go on there, and when we were doing shows like this, you're able to look up things, and it's very interactive, lots of information, hours for the thrift store, how you can get involved, both maybe a volunteer or maybe if you like to be a donator. This time of the year, it's always, every place needs help physically and financially, and I'm sure you're no different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a lot of information on there, maywoodmission.org. One thing I was on there looking around, and something that kind of caught my eye, something new. And you're always doing new things down there. I give you that. Always keeping up with the trends that are going on. I saw something called LifeWise Academy. Maybe a Talmadge school will be the first one, always involved with young people. Tell us about that.
Yeah, LifeWise Academy is what is called, and I want to make sure I've got all my notes here. It's RTRI, which stands for Release Time Religious Instruction, and this is something the United States Supreme Court came up with in the 1950s to find a way for kids to still get Bible-based character-building education, but not mix it with the public schools.
Separation.
Yeah, and so three things have to be true about the program for it to exist. It's got to be off-site, privately funded, and the parents have to request it. So it's only comes by way of parent request.
Sure.
When those three are met, the government has made, through the Supreme Court, the ability to do that so that it separates it. And there's a great need for character building programs. And that is what it's considered, a Bible-based character building program. And it's kind of neat because when you look at the Maywood mission statement that Reverend Eck 110 years ago came up with, one of the things in the mission statement is that we will provide character building programs. So when I saw this and saw that Reverend Eck and Tony Rubel had at times things that ministered to teens in trouble, or and there just wasn't that right now. When I saw this, I thought, what an opportunity to fulfill the mission. I know that Tony and Reverend Eck would just be smiling to see this happening right now. And the community's gotten behind it. I think there's over 200 names now. We've met with the superintendent.
I was going to say, this ties in with Lancaster City Schools, and
Yes.
the superintendent, Nathan Hale, they are on board.
They are on board. We're just waiting for final approval. And this is something that is in Hilliard schools, Olentangy, Columbus City, New Albany, now Bloom Carroll, Amanda Clare Creek, Fairfield Union, Liberty Union. All the surrounding schools have at least the steering committee right now. So it's a major trend. And Maywood Mission will be one of the host sites for at least one or two of the elementary schools.
And I think you touched on a very important thing. This is parental driven.
Yes.
No one is forced to go to this.
No,
If you're
no.
in school, my kid had to go to that because no. This is the parents want this to happen for their child, and that's what you're seeing. They
Yep.
are wanting this.
Yep, and they're only gone for maybe an hour at most, 45 minutes to an hour, and we pick them up at a bus, drive them over. They have a 45-minute class, just as if they were having art, or what we try to do is take advantage of things like library time or whatever the kids would want to.
So it fits within the school year. The school hours.
Yeah, the only thing the school does is facilitate.
Provide that opportunity. Yeah. So, and is Talmadge School the first one now?
Talmadge and Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
Mount
Which is
Pleasant
the
will
former
be-
North School.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gorsuch may be at the same time, and then January would be Medill and Tarhee.
So a lot of the elementary schools,
all of them,
are on board with this.
Yes.
And
for
this is
next
an
year.
elementary-based program.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for that age children.
Yep. They have a junior high now, but they tell you to start elementary and just let the children build up into that.
Grow up into that.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a 45-minute segment out of their day in the school day, and it's different times for different schools. Is that how it works? Like
Yes.
everybody at Talmadge that's in will be in the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. And more religious-based opportunities at Maywood Mission. That's what you'll see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. We'll have teachers there. There will be a director. And so those kids, they're getting a minimum of 60% participation rate in schools that they're in.
I'd say that's high.
Sounds
incredible.
Yeah. 60 to 80%.
Well, it's called LifeWise Academy. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that
Absolutely.
as things move on. Certainly, it's brand new now, underway.
Yep.
Underway. And as we move into 2023, we'll learn more about that. We'll have you back on to chat about that. I'm sure we'll be seeing things in all the media and social platforms too. So it's a busy time down there. lots of things going on. I know you bless so many families this time of year with, as we talked about, the toys, the coats, the food, the things you do down there. Golly, it's just, this is your season.
Yeah, and the financial assistance is year-round.
Sure.
We're doing a lot of the utilities and rent and transportation and pharmacy medical fees and all of that.
And a lot of the money you raise at this time of the year go to help things that you do all year, because
yes,
you
exactly.
spend a lot now, but the needs are 12 months.
You got it, Paul.
Yeah, so
You got it.
Maywood Mission, Jonathan Hanks, the executive director down there. So good luck with the Christmas time. I hope you survive that. It's a busy
We'll
time
get it.
down there. You and the staff have a Merry Christmas down there, and we'll look forward to talking to you and everybody in 2023.
Sounds
Thanks
great.
for all you do for Lancaster and
Thank you,
Fairfield
Paul.
County. Thank you. Jonathan Hanks with Maywood Mission. I want to take just a moment, too, as we have just a second here, to say thank you for, geez, what a wonderful year it's been here on Fairfield Today. And from all of us, Shane, our cameraman, Bob Competti, the owner of Interface Video, everyone here who has been so gracious to us for all year, allowing us to come in their lobby and take some time. We're very thankful for what they do. Mary Snyder and the whole group of people down here, Matt Weidman, all the people that are so nice and treat us so well. We're very thankful to have them on board as people involved at Fairfield Today. So from all the folks there at Fairfield Federal, all the folks here at Interface Video, we certainly wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll be talking to you in 2023. Thank you.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.